Okay, so let's get into this. We're doing a deep dive today into Proverbs chapter 2.
Right.
And this chapter, it's really focused. It's about the hunt for wisdom,
Yeah.
where it actually comes from, and, why it's so much better than the alternative.
Yeah, it's framed almost like a treasure map, isn't it? How to find this wisdom and why it's worth digging for.
Exactly. And the digging part is stressed right away.
Oh, absolutely. It doesn't mess around. It
Yeah.
says things like, if you accept my words, store up my commands, turn your ear, apply your heart. If you call out, cry aloud, if you look for it as for silver, search like it's hidden treasure.
Wow, yeah.
It's intense, it's active. Wisdom isn't just, lying around waiting for you. You have to search.
Search, like, for silver, for treasure.
Mm-hmm.
That really hammers home the value, but also maybe how hard it is to find.
Could be. But it's not just random searching, right? The text points you somewhere specific.
It does. It grounds it immediately.
Yeah. It says, for the Lord gives wisdom. From his mouth come knowledge and understanding. So you put in the effort, you search hard. But the wisdom itself, it's presented as a gift coming from God. And it adds, he holds victory. He's a shield for those who walk uprightly.
A shield. So this active search tied to the right source helps you understand what is right and just and fair, every good path.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's interesting how it also talks about an internal change. It says, wisdom enters your heart. Knowledge becomes pleasant to your soul. It's not just external guidance.
That's a really key point, that internal aspect, that harmony. But then there's also this strong emphasis on, like you said, external protection. Discretion protects.
Yeah.
Understanding guards.
Guards you from what, and this is where I think the chapter really draws a sharp line.
Yeah, it pivots immediately to contrast. What does wisdom save you from?
Right.
First, it's the ways of wicked men. Men with perverse words who ditch the straight paths for dark ways.
Mm-hmm.
People described as having crooked paths, being devious. It sounds like deliberate choices for corruption.
Not just stumbling off the path. And then it brings up another danger, personified as the adulteress, the wayward wife with her seductive words, who has left the partner of her youth, ignored her covenant with God. Why that specific example alongside wicked men? What's the connection?
Well, I think the link is about breaking trust, breaking commitments, whether it's, a formal covenant or just basic honesty and straightforwardness.
Okay, yeah, I see that.
Both paths use deception, seductive words on one hand, devious ways on the other, and both lead to the same place, ruin. The text is incredibly blunt.
It really is.
For her house leads down to death and her paths to the spirits of the dead. It says none who go to her return or attain the paths of life. These aren't just bad choices, they're presented as fatal dead ends.
Paths to the spirits of the dead. That's powerful imagery. So you get this stark choice. On one side, this demanding search for wisdom anchored to God,
Right.
leading to inner peace, outer protection, walking with good people. The upright, it says, live in the land. They remain.
And the other side, wickedness, unfaithfulness, marked by darkness, crookedness, broken trust.
Leading straight to, well, death, being cut off, torn from the land.
The contrast couldn't be clearer. It's life versus death, basically. Security versus total destruction.
Wow. Okay, so wrapping this up then, thinking about Proverbs 2, what does this deep dive really press upon you, the listener, about navigating life's choices?
Well, it seems to argue pretty forcefully that telling the difference between these paths isn't easy or automatic. It takes real active effort, like hunting treasure, and crucially, aligning yourself with the right source for that wisdom. It definitely makes you think, doesn't it? If wisdom requires this kind of dedicated search from a divine source and the alternatives are so destructive, well, how does that challenge the modern idea that maybe all paths are equally okay, or that truth is just relative? Something to consider.